All right, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're going to start in a sec. And just want to remind everybody, this is the first thing that we've done back here at the synagogue since March. So this is 3 months that we've been out. And it's really special, too, because today we're also welcoming back Cantor Kenny Ellis, who's been with us on, virtual services for the last couple months, and people have really enjoyed hearing and having him give us a sense of Shabbat. So I'm not going to wear a mask when I'm talking. I have my mask, my deluxe mask right here. That is my mask for special events, made by the woman who made a lot of our taluses here for this morning's service. I just want to make a couple of announcements about how we're doing things today to try to keep everybody safe. So you'll see we have sanitizer all over the place, including back here. And we want everybody, when they're using their prayer books, if you are not sure if you handled the prayer book, somebody else handled it, there's a blue milk crate back there. Just put the prayer book back there and grab a new one. So we won't be using them we'll put those away and we won't use them for a couple months. So please do that. And the other thing that we're going to do, the only item that we're going to be handling is this yad, the Torah pointer. And so what we're going to be doing is sanitizing it between as the readers pass from one to the next. So this is, in this way, we're limiting and following the guidance that we have. As we also have done, as you can see, we've social distanced within the sanctuary today. We put families together and make sure that everybody could be comfortable. We didn't put seats in different places because we knew families wanted to be together, and they've been together for these last months, so there's no reason not to do that here. But again, we want everybody to stay safe. Our first and highest goal in Judaism is to preserve life and to have people live. All of our laws, all of our mitzvot are second to the primary mitzvah, which is to keep people alive, to live by all the mitzvot. So we want to make sure we do that today. But we're very excited that today, the first event that we've had in our congregation in a setting, in a communal setting with people together, is this event today. And we're really glad that it was able to happen. We were following what was happening in the news and the guidance for religious services very closely. This group of women that are able to celebrate, they've been able to study together over these last months. We're so glad that they were able to celebrate today. This is really, really a blessing. And they worked really hard and went above and beyond because of the circumstances that we've all been living under. So we're really, really glad that this was able to happen, that everybody was able to be here, that all the people that can now watch and be part of this on Facebook, that can stream from wherever they are going to be able to be connected. And some of those people may not have been able to be here regardless. So this has actually forced us to start streaming things and again giving people a chance to be together from far distances. So we're glad that everybody who's with us on Facebook can be with us as well, that your family and friends, that our community, our Santa Clarita community that's spread out, and in some cases people are living in different areas, or at least for the time being living in different areas, are with us right now too. So we're here in this room, but we're also in lots of other rooms and lots of other places today too. And so when we bring everybody together as we normally do for the beginning of a service, we sing a song and kind of recognize that it's special when everybody's together. Even in the time of social distancing, even in a time when people are oftentimes finding themselves in unique settings for communal experiences. We're going to begin on page 2 with the song Hine Matov, how good it is for us to be together. Whenever we're in one place, in one time, with one focus, we are together. And so for that we're grateful. Hine Matov on page 2. Cantor.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יא לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים.
So now we're going to present the talit, the prayer shawl, to our B'nai Mitzvah, because this group here today are female, and so we can actually say B'nai Mitzvah, the plural for women, and we want to call them up now for that and to have the person who's presenting them with their talit. So we're going to go in our order. Ginny, if you wanted to come up first.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitatef b'tzitzit. Amen.
Yeah, that is the hard part of this, not hugging and being able just to come in contact with people. We want to call up now Susan for her talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitatef b'tzitzit.
Now we want to call up Kim for her talit.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen. Now, Kelly, if you want to have your talit.
Baruch atah atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu I didn't say lahitatef v'tzitzi.
It's hard to do. That's good. And Marina, you get your talit presented to you now.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, v'tzivanu, v'titatef, v'tzitzit.
So even being able to get a talit during this time was not easy, as gift shops and Judaica stores were not open. So the fact that we were able to do that was a little bit of a miracle, and was part of the experience that we won't forget during this time. I want to point out, I always love when he's here with us today, but today, Kim's grandfather, who presented the talit to him, we had him with us a couple years ago, and we're so glad that Grandpa Mo is he's in good health. He's strong. He was a fighter in the Palmach in the Israeli army before it was the Israeli army. He was there in the War of Independence as a teenager, literally as a young boy, not much older than pretty much the same age as his great-grandson, Anthony, that he's sitting next to. You can imagine Anthony fighting in the Palmach in the War of Independence. That was what happened with your great-grandfather. So we hope he stays in great health and can come back and in person talk to our young people about what it was like to be a hero in more modern Jewish history.
Amen.
We're going to continue with the Shachri, the morning service today, and again, especially today. We're grateful to be able to be together in prayer, to be able to be together as a congregation. And so the morning service is actually very similar to the morning service that we do any day. But here on this Shabbat, at the beginning of June, and a month that we hope that will continue to bring more possibilities to us. And on page 20, we're going to continue with the Baruch Hu, with our formal call to worship. We're going to say the Baruch Hu is part of the call and response of the Torah service in just a moment. We're going to ask everyone to rise, to kind of stretch, to stand up, stand tall, and to say the Baruch Hu, the call to worship for Shabbat morning on page 20.
Lai 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 la 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 Lai la 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 Lai la 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 Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach le'olam va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach le'olam va'ed Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Please be seated, everyone. We're going to continue on page 21, the morning prayer of love. And again, especially in these last days, over the last week, we definitely are praying for more love to be felt in the world. And as we hope and pray that our community, our country, will feel that sense of love, the eternal, unconditional, unending love of God. On page 21, Ahava Rabbah.
Ahava Rabbah haftanu Adonai Eloheinu chemla gedola v'teira חמלת עלינו, אבינו מלכנו, בעבור אבותינו, שבטחו בך, אבינו מלכנו. ועד למדן חוקי חיים, תן חכמנו למדנו, אבינו האב הרחמן, המרחם רחם עלינו. ותן בליבנו להבין ולהשכיל לשמוע, ללמוד וללמד, לשמור ולעשות, ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה, והאר עינינו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך, ויחד לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ולא נבוש לעולם ואין ולא נבוש לעולם ואין כי בשם קדשך הגדול והנורא בטחנו נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך.
And as we continue now on page 22, with the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantaham levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha havaderech u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך, ובישעריך. ויאמר אדוני למשה לאמור דבר על למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 23, as we continue with Michamocha, the song of the sea, the song of freedom, the song we sing when we cross over from slavery towards freedom. The song Shira Hayam we sing now.
Yam bam bam bim bim bam yabba bye bye bim bam yam bam bam bim bim bam yabba bye bye bim bam ay 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 yabba bye bye bim bam ay 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 yabba bye bye bim bam mihi chamocha vo'elim Adonai mihi kamocha nedar bakodesh norati lo osefel norati lo osefel שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמך על שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלך לעולם ועד וים בם בם בים בם יבא ביי ביי בים בם ים בם בם בים בם יבא ביי ביי בים בם איי 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 יבא ביי ביי בים בם איי 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 יבא ביי ביי בים בם צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופתחנו ממך יהודה וישראל. כה עלינו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
As we continue with the Amidah now, it begins on page 24 and then goes through to page 27. So we use part of this time for silent prayer. We use the Amidah as a time to think about the things that we're personally praying for and thinking about right now. So definitely some things to think about on this Shabbat. On page 24, we'll chant out loud, and then on page 25, the Kedusha, as the cantor leads us in that. And 26 and 27 is the traditional text, but again, using this time for silent prayer. We're going to ask everyone to rise for the Amidah and to be seated when you're done with the silent prayer. When everyone's finished and seated, done with prayer, we'll continue again out loud. But the Amidah for Shabbat morning, 24 through 27.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zochech Chasdei Avot v'Imaot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, שם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ויאמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו. אז בקול רעש גדול, אדיר וחזק משמיעים קול, מתנשאים ליומת צורפים, ליומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו כי מחכים אנחנו לך. מתי תמלוך בציון? בקרוב בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון. תתגדל ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך, לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. ועינינו תראנה מלכותך, כדבר האמור בשירי עוזך. על ידי דוד משיח צדקך, ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי את ציון, לדור ודור הללויה, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, קדושתך נקדיש. ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. לדור ודור,
דור ודור,
לדור ודור,
דור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד גד לך, לדור ודור,
דור ודור,
לדור ודור,
דור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד גד לך, כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, גדול וקדוש אתה, כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Continue silently and be seated when you're done with your silent prayer. So we're not sure how silent prayer is going on at home while people are watching elsewhere. I should say home. They could be anywhere. It could be at the beach or a park watching us, but it is a strange thing to be thinking about our prayer space and the prayer space that other people are inhabiting. But it was really important when we decided to go ahead and have the service today that this would be a service that we would be able to have here because, most importantly, we were going to have the Torah be read. And that would be really hard to do on Zoom. It's not impossible, but it wouldn't be the same. And so right now today, as we're going to enter the Torah service, we're going to give everybody a chance to hear these very special women read from the Torah, out of the Torah scroll, and to be able to have the same experience that they would have had even if we weren't dealing with a pandemic and really, again, a global crisis. So this is really special that we're able to have the Torah, to be in the presence of the Torah, to bring everybody who's here, and again, the special people who were invited to be here today, because I want to make it real clear to anybody who is watching this from another location that we have a very small group here today, and we limited it, and it was really not really, it was completely by invitation only, so all of you who scored an invite to today's party, you're part of an MVP group, a very special MVP group, and again, we would have loved to have had everybody here. That is the one thing that we are missing, is having everybody here who we would have liked to have had for today's service, but we hope that people can join us virtually and are watching us, and we'll be able to watch this later too. In posterity, people will be watching this generations from now. So that's the cool thing, is that some of you are not as excited about that, I know, but in a moment we're going to be reading from the Torah, and again, most importantly, that the people that we're here to honor today are going to be reading from the Torah. When we talk about an adult B'nai Mitzvah, or in this case a Benot Mitzvah, when we have a group of people that are reading Torah beyond the age of the earliest age you can do it, that's really what happens with a bar bat mitzvah, is that once you reach 12 as a young woman, or 13 as a young man, that from that point on, you're under the obligation of the mitzvot, the commandments, and one of those is reading from the Torah. But whenever you do that, whenever you celebrate that, we call that a bar bat mitzvah, but every one of the people who's participating now in reading today is already responsible and has been following the mitzvot for a while, but this particular mitzvah of reading from the Torah they're doing now, and they're doing it with all of us here, so it's very, very special. So when we come into the Torah service begins on page 28. In the program you can find in the inside page there is the Torah reading in the translation that we're going to do. So the 5 readings we're going to do, the 5 sections we're going to be doing today are translated, so you'll be able to see each person's reading. It will be done in Hebrew, but you can follow along in English in the translation. We're reading from Parshat Naso, which is a portion that comes from the book of Numbers. It's really the second portion in Numbers, the second set of readings. We started a couple weeks ago, but then we had Shavuot last week, which is a holiday where we read a special part of the Torah. And then this week we come back to the next section. And so as we come here in Numbers chapter 4 through about chapter 7, we're reading, continuing to read about the census that was taken, the counting of the Jewish people, the tribes as they come out of Egypt. But we're also going to be reading today about a couple of interesting laws. We discussed it Wednesday night in our Torah study, where we looked at one of the laws of Sotah, of the woman who's accused of adultery, infidelity. And then there's also the laws of the Nazarite. The Nazarites are an interesting group of people. The Torah portion that we're actually going to hear today, that our women are reading from, is that section that talks about the Nazarites. And the Nazarites were kind of like quasi-priests. They were not hereditary priests. They were not Levites. They were not Kohanim. But they were people who took on kind of priestly-like rituals. And you'll see that in the reading that you can follow along with today. They took on some rituals and some responsibilities that even the priests didn't. So that included not drinking alcohol, not drinking even grapes, not even having raisins. These were people who also were not supposed to cut their hair. And we know about the most famous Nazarite is Samson. And he's a Nazarite from birth, which is even more unusual. So this is an interesting ritual, an interesting set of commandments that the rabbis, by about 2,000 years ago, pretty much made it impossible for people to become Nazarites because of the difficulty and, quite frankly, it's contrary to a lot of Jewish values, actually, for people to take on vows and to do things that are really, really hard to do, that maybe aren't encouraged by normal human behavior, if you will. So, not that drinking has to be part of normal human behavior, or drinking alcohol, but that is one of the things that we know that they couldn't do. So we're going to be reading from the Torah in just a moment. On page 28, the Torah service begins with the part of the service where we bring out the Torah. I'll be bringing out the Torah. I'll be handling the Torah. So I'm the only person that's actually going to be handling the Torah today. And the women are going to be reading out of the Torah with the yad, touching the yad, which has already been sanitized once. And as I've mentioned to this group several times, I always have hand sanitizer with me, not just now. So for me, this is you're all now in my world of constantly hand sanitizing. But you will all hear them read from the Torah here today, which is very exciting. And when we take around the Torah, normally people will touch and kiss the Torah. You're definitely not encouraged to do that. If you want to, kind of imagine the Torah near you, the whole purpose of it is to come close to the Torah. I will be walking around with the Torah, giving everyone a chance to do that. But yeah, don't run out and kiss the Torah. Even Orthodox synagogues are telling people, ultra-Orthodox, not to do that. But again, we're going to bring out the Torah for everybody in just a moment. But we begin on page 28 with the words, Ein Kamocha. So, and in just a moment, we'll open up the ark. That'll be a signal, a call for everyone to rise as we then will take out the Torah. So again, on page 28 in the Siddur, we begin.
Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אב הרחמים, היטיבה ברצונך את ציון. תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך אל רם ונישא, אדון עולמים.
We rise as the ark is open, everybody.
ויהי במצוא אהרון ויאמר משה, קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך, כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
As we continue on page 29 in the Siddur, as we say the words of the Shema, Echad, we repeat and echo off of those two lines towards the middle of the page.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Gahadlu l'Adonai iti, uneromim ha'shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai ha'gedula, v'ha'gevura, v'ha'tiferet, v'ha'netzach, v'ha'hod. Ki cho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz, ki cho b'shamayim u'ba'aretz. Lecha Adonai ha'mamlacha, והמתנשא לכל ראש רוממו, רוממו. אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו, להדום רגליו קדוש הוא, רוממו, רוממו. אדוני אלוהינו, והשתחוו, והשתחוו, להר קדשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Please be seated, everyone. So now, as we call up our B'nai Mitzvah, B'not Mitzvah, for the reading of the Torah, and again, you can now follow along in your program with the English reading. This is, again, a very special honor for all of these people to do it. Everybody here has, who's reading today, has a very unique and special story. They're going to share a little bit as well. They're going to give a Devar Torah. They're going to give a little speech after they read from the Torah. We're going to hear from them as well. But this experience of practicing and learning the Torah was for everybody a very challenging, difficult, but also again in the midst of everything else that we've been dealing with. I know that they found strength in this, but it is it's not an easy thing to do in the best of circumstances, let alone having to do so much study in the last 3 months virtually. So it's tremendous honor and commitment that they've shown to go through and to have this experience. So as we call up now the first Aliyah, the first reader of the Torah, we want to call up Ginelle for this honor.
תעמוד, תעמוד, הבכורה הבת מצווה, גילה ירדן בת פנחס לזר ושרה איתה, ראשונית.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vayed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher Baruch Banu Michol Hamim. Venatan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Vadaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el B'nai Yisrael ve'amarta elachem. Isho isha. Ki yafli lindor neder nazir. Lazir le'Adonai. Miyayin ve'shachar yazir. Chometz yayin vechometz shechar lo ishte. V'kol mishrat hanavim lo ishte. V'anavim lachim ve'veshim lo yochel. Kol mizrei hakol. Asher. Yaseh Migefen Hayayin Michartanim Ve'yatzag Lo Yochel. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Natan Lanu Torah Emet Ve'yahei Olam Nata B'toheinu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
All right, well, that was a great way to start. So we're going to continue with the second section that we're going to be reading here, and this is now a chance for us to call up Susan Schmitt for the second aliyah.
Ta'amot, ta'amot, habachura habat mitzvah, Shoshana bat Moshe v'Flora, shenit.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim venatan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Ve'ki yamut met alav bafeta pitom ve'timei rosh nizro ve'gila rosho bayom torato bayom hashvi yagalahenu uvayom hashmini yavishatei torim. O Shnei B'nai Yonah, El HaKohen, Al Patecha Ohel Moed. Ve'asa HaKohen, El Had Leotat, Ve'had Leolah, Ve'hiper Alav, Me'asher Hata El HaNafesh, Ve'kidash, Et Rosho Bayom Hahu Bezir Ladonai Et Yamei Nizro Behevi Keves Ben Shanato Leasham Vehayamim Harushonim Iplu Ki Tamei Nizro. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah timet v'heya olam nata beitoheinu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov. Mazel tov.
So, yes, it's hard not to hug and congratulate people and wish them, again, a hearty mazel tov for reading from the Torah. And again, with everything everybody's been dealing with, to be able to continue to study and work at this is a real inspiration. It's an inspiration to everybody. So, as we come now to the third reading, Kim, are you ready? Okay. This is our third reader.
Ta'amod, ta'amod, habachura habat mitzvah, Gabriela bat Michael v'Noga, Shlishit.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Bezot Torat Hanazir biyom Melot Yemei Nizro Yavioto El Petach Ohel Moed Vehi Krivet Korbano Ladonai Kevez Ben Shnato Tamim Echad Leila Behavesa Achat Bat Shnata Tamima Lechatat Ve'ayil Lechad Tamim Lishlamim Vesal Matzot Solet Halot Belulot Bashemen Orkike Matzot Meshuhim Bashamen Umin Hatam Beniskehem Vehi kriv hakohen liflei Adonai, ve'asa et hatato, ve'et olato, ve'et ha'yil yaseh sevach shlamim ladonai al sal hamatzot, ve'asa hakohen et min hato, ve'et nisko. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov.
Thank you. So again, if you're following along, we're reading about the ways that the Nazirite would kind of leave the service of the Nazirite, of being a Nazirite. This is the last two sections that we're going to be reading, the last parts of this Torah portion. They, well, you're going to hear some parts that are probably pretty familiar coming up. But we're now going to call up the fourth reader, the fourth section that we're going to be reading today, as we call up Kelly for the fourth reading.
Ta'amod, ta'amod, habachura habat mitzvah, Ruth bat Abraham v'Sara, revi'it.
Baruch atah Adonai HaMavorach.
Baruch Adonai Avarach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMavorach la'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim v'natan lanu el Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Velakach hanazir petach ohel moed et rosh nizro. Velakach et se'ar rosh nizro. Vinatan al aesh asher turat zevach hashlamim. Velakach hakohen et hazara beshala min et ha'el. Velakach matzah akar min haso urkik matzah ehad vinatan al kapeh. Hanazir akar hikaleko et nizro v'neif otam hakohen tenufa lifnei Adonai kodesh hu hakohen al hazeh. Oh goodness. Hatanufa vayel shok hataruma vakar ishte nizro yanin zot turat hanazir asher yidor kabano ladonai al nizro melavad asher tasig yidor cafe nidro asher yado ken ishte al turat nizro. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet ba'a'e olam nata b'tohenu Baruch atah Adonai notein ha-Torah.
Amen. Mazel tov, mazel tov.
So now we're going to hear the last section of the Torah that we're going to hear today. And we're going to call it Marina to read this last section. And this is a section that hopefully will sound familiar to you because it has the Birkat Kohanim, the blessing of the priests. And it's a blessing that we share in Judaism to this day with pride to people. You're going to hear it in a little bit, actually, for all of our B'nai Mitzvah. And it's also a part of other religious traditions too. Especially in many Christian sects, the threefold blessing is used as part of the prayers as well. So you'll hear these prayers as they were originally said, as they were originally given, to be blessed and for the people to be blessed in the name of God. So we call it Marina now to be a blessing for us and to read for us this last section that you'll find in the Torah there.
Ta'amot, ta'amot, habachura habat mitzvah, simcha bat Avraham v'Sara, chamishit.
Baruch et Adonai hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai haborach leolam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai hamavorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayadaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el Aharon ve'el banav lemor, ko tevachrahu et bnei Yisrael amor lahem. Yavarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha, yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, v'samu et shemi al bnei Yisrael Vani avacharem. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'hayeh olam nata betohenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Mazel tov, mazel tov.
So, this was, again, a wonderful opportunity for us to have the Torah be read by people who, in some cases, could have never imagined when they were 13 that they'd be reading Torah in a synagogue. And this is, again, one of the miracles of life, the way things work out. And we're going to take a moment. On page 31 in the Siddur, back in the prayer book, we have a prayer for healing that we do, that we traditionally have during this time when we're in the presence of the Torah. And in particular, this is a prayer that, like so many of our prayers, sometimes we kind of reach a time when the prayers speak to us in a way that we could have never imagined. And right now, we're praying for so many people, and we're praying for literally millions of people right now. And as this prayer in the version that we do, the Debbie Friedman version, also asks God to help us have courage and strength as we care for those who are ill, and we have an immense responsibility to do that right now, each of us. So on page 31, at the bottom of the page, you can find the Mishabara, and we've been lucky. We've been having Cantor Kenny doing the Mishabara for us so many times over the last weeks. Today, though, even though Cantor Kenny is here live in person, we have a special guest that's going to be doing the Misha Baruch. Now, we wanted to ask Susan's daughter, Cassie, oldest daughter, Cassie, I want to point that out, oldest daughter, Cassie, because there's three wonderful daughters, but Cassie is going to sing Misha Baruch, and she has, again, great voice, great strength, and we're going to draw from her that strength as she sings Misha Baruch. And again, please take a moment to think about the people that, in particular, that you're praying for right now. But again, of course, please include all those that are fighting illness and coronavirus in particular. And again, for all of us, for the healing of our mind and spirit, which has been badly bruised and broken over these last days too. So the Misha Baruch prayer, our prayer for healing.
Misha Baruch Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishebera imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Thank you, Cassie. Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you. So, again, we're blessed to be able to have so many people here who made a journey, including Cassie, to come out here, but also the people who are watching us and a part of this service today. On page 34, we're going to return our Torah scroll back to the ark. Oh, actually, 31 first, we're going to raise up the Torah. We didn't show everybody part of the Torah what we are reading from, but then we'll return the Torah scroll. But on page 31, we're going to lift up the Torah, Vizot HaTorah, the words that we say, and we're going to ask everyone to rise as we lift up the Torah.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
So as we turn to page 34, we're going to ask you to remain standing as we return the Torah scroll.
הללו את שם אדוני כי נשגב שמו לבדו הודו על הארץ ושמיים ויהרם כהרם לימה תהילה לכל חסידיו לבני ישראל עם קרובו הללויה hallelujah.
The bottom of page 34, our Torah is our tree of life, our Eitz Chaim, and especially now we hold fast to it. Cling to it for life, for Chaim.
את חיים היא למחזיקים בה בתומכיה מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם.
Please be seated, everyone. So now we have our Divrei Torah, our words of Torah that are special insights into the Torah, into, most importantly, these special people who are now going to share with you a little bit of themselves. So in the midst of, again, everything else going on right now, this was a time for them to kind of reflect on their lives and where they are at this point in connection with the Torah. So we're going to call them up in the order that they've been reading Torah. So Jenny, if you'd come up first.
Okay. When I was a little girl, my parents made sure my brother and I had the best of everything. We were involved with Indian guides, campfire girls, Little League, baseball, soccer, just to name a few. My parents weren't overly religious, as their parents weren't either. My dad celebrated bar mitzvah, but that's about where his religious education ended. I saw my friends that celebrated bar and bat mitzvah, but I didn't. And I always had that little voice in the back of my head telling me that I was missing something really special. Years later, when my grandfather got remarried, I took it upon myself to have a little chat with the rabbi who performed the ceremony. And I told him about my feeling of missing out. I was 16 years old at the time. I was a little too old to go through the traditional bat mitzvah, but I was encouraged to join the confirmation class, which I did. I was confirmed. But that nagging voice in my head reminded me that I wasn't a bat mitzvah. But I pushed the voice away and life went on. I graduated high school. I got my bachelor's degree and started working. I went back to school several years later, and I got my master's degree and eventually my doctorate in audiology, which is working with hearing aids and hearing testing. Throughout all this time, I had that nagging voice in my back of my head telling me I was missing something important. However, I was working, I was very busy with everyday responsibilities, so again, that little voice was pushed aside. My second job in audiology, I found myself relocating to Santa Clarita. I began working for a very busy company with a large staff of all women. I went through a lot of ups and downs while working with them, both personal and professional. In 2006, my dad passed away, which was the worst time in my life. And in 2010, I got married to the love of my life, which was the best time. However, professionally, I struggled. I had a hard time getting along with my coworkers, which was a first for me. I struggled working with my employer, who was overly critical of my abilities, both in and out of the office. For 15 years, I worked for that company and struggled with the office politics. I've always enjoyed what I've done. I love getting to know my patients. I love building strong relationships with them and knowing that I'm helping them make their lives better and helping them to communicate with those around them. But I struggled so much with the office politics, and I found myself depressed and unhappy. And that little voice was getting louder. Ginny, you're turning 50 next year. Ginny, go out and find what makes you happy. And right about that time, I was sitting on High Holy Day services, and Rabbi Mark was talking about the temple offering good things during a time when the world was filled with so much negativity. He said the temple wanted to be a source of goodness and of unity. He mentioned that there hadn't been a B'nai Mitzvah class in many years, and now felt like a good time to start one. I swear he was looking right at me when he said that. He wasn't, but I felt that way. I sent him an email the next day, and here I am. One of the things we were asked to do as part of our B'nai Mitzvah was to participate in a weekly Torah study. The very first Torah study I attended was discussing a part of Exodus. Moses had just left Egypt and led the slaves to their freedom. How amazing, right? To leave a life of bondage, to live in a world where you could be free, and have someone to lead you telling you God was there to support you. God was there to protect you and see you through. What more could you want? I talked with Rabbi Mark after class, and I learned that not all the slaves left. Actually, a lot of slaves chose to stay in Egypt. They chose to stay in bondage. And it made me think about what might have been running through their minds. In Egypt, yes, they were slaves, but they had food every day. They had a place to sleep every night. It was known, it was safe, it was how it had always been. And out there where Moses was leading the people, what was out there? Where would they stay? Would they be able to feed so many people? Would they survive? How brave they were to leave and follow Moses into the unknown. Surely in Egypt they would have survived. It might not have been a pleasant life, but it was a life that they knew. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't. I sat in the synagogue while Rabbi Mark talked about these things, and again, I was sure he was looking right at me. Why was I staying in an environment that made me so miserable? Why did I allow someone to make me feel less than I am? That I was a terrible audiologist, that I'd never make it on my own. I had stayed in this dysfunctional relationship for 15 years because I was afraid of the unknown. The devil I knew was better than the devil I didn't. I thought of leaving so many times, but I never did. I could never make it on my own. I wasn't a business person. I didn't bring in enough money to her practice. I didn't see enough patients. And in the end, I was a terrible audiologist, right? After all, that's what I'd been told for 15 years. But I started thinking about those slaves that left Egypt, not really knowing what their future held. And I thought about all the slaves that had chose to stay in bondage, even when they had the path to freedom. I realized that whatever the future held for me, it could never be worse than where I was at. So in my heart and in my head, I made the decision to leave. And once that decision was made, I started to see opportunity everywhere. I started to really hear the people around me telling me what a good audiologist I was, how my patients were lucky to have me. And slowly, things began to change. I wasn't so unhappy anymore. I wasn't so depressed anymore. I've been an audiologist for 20 years and a business owner for 20 minutes. There's a steep learning curve, but I'm doing it and I'm happy. Instead of the constant negativity with coworkers, I surround myself with family and friends who support me. I'm around people who believe in me and my potential, and they lift me up every day. People like my mom, who supported me in any endeavor I ever set out to do. She's been my biggest cheerleader and my best friend. She's known my ability even before I did. She teaches me to be strong and to persevere. And my Aunt Tony, who has been a great support, not only showing interest in my life's path, but she taught me about Jewish rituals and holidays. She taught me not just by telling me, but by showing me. I was watching and I was learning. My brother Randy, who stepped up after my dad passed away, he's been there for me no matter what, which has made an incredible difference in my life. He is my cousin Scott, who always brings peace and calm into my life. He is my ray of sunshine. He is the birds feeding off the deck. He is the deer who take bananas from my hand, and he is the taste of a great tequila. And my husband, Oscar, who has loved me through it all. He has been supportive of every new venture I decided to go on, whether it's quitting my job and starting my own practice, going skydiving, or deciding to pursue my dream of celebrating Bat Mitzvah. He stands with me, he supports me, he is always there for me. These are the people who I choose to surround myself with, who lift me up and show me that there's no limit. And I've also found friends here at Temple Beth Ami in my B'nai Mitzvah class who have helped me through this journey. I have watched in amazement how they have balanced family and work and studying, especially during this crazy pandemic, homeschooling children, working from home. When I've doubted my ability to be a bat mitzvah, I only had to look to them to know if they could do it, so could I. And I'm so grateful for this group of women, and I hope we remain friends even after today. And I am so grateful to Rabbi Mark and Sarah Horn, who have walked this journey with me and been there every step of the way. So here's to the next adventure, and I can only hope it will be as rewarding as celebrating Bat Mitzvah. Shabbat Shalom.
Don't go anywhere. You don't get to leave yet. So,
You want me to do it in Hebrew?
so we want to recognize, and again, before Ginny leaves, in each of our B'nai Mitzvah, we want to also give a prayer to, a blessing. But one of the things that Ginny did not talk about in her speech, which is, again, a testament to the amazing person that she is, she's had her own challenges beyond that, and tremendous challenges, and literally life and death challenges. And she didn't talk about that because she doesn't let that define her. But because of her her battles, all of us, and I know especially her family, but for me and for people who know what you've been through, Ginny, we are very inspired by you, and your battle helps. Again, you talked about how your class helps you. You've helped all of us, and you've made us realize that a lot of the things that we think are impossible are not. And so we want to thank you over the years for being an inspiration to us. We hope that you continue to find a place in Temple Beth Ami to help us grow and be better people too. And we know this is only the beginning of that part of your life, that chapter of your life. So as your business here continues to grow and goes from strength to strength, that we hope that you also continue to help make our community stronger and better. And so for all of us, on behalf of everybody here and on behalf of the people that are watching, and we have probably 40 or 50 people on and off. And that's not people, actually, that's homes. So there's probably about another 100 people that are with us virtually right now. I wanted to everybody know that. And we're really glad that they're there for us, because they're giving us support too. But Ginny, on behalf of everybody, we want to offer this blessing to you, and we want to again, wish you a mazal tov today on this day. So again, while we won't get too close, we'll still give this blessing, which again, what's so special about this blessing is it comes from this week's portion. And so we actually just read this priestly blessing. So we give it to you now, Ginny, on this special day for you. Again, a day that you have been a blessing to all of us.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine down upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God turn towards you, giving you the blessing of wholeness, of completeness, of peace, of shalom. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may this be God's will. And we say together, everybody, Amen.
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 Thank
Mazel
you.
tov. So, again, it's difficult not to bless people and touch them and hug them, but again, everybody should know that the feeling, the emotion is there, and it is one of the hardest parts of having the service in person, is not being able to kind of complete and close that circle. So as we come now to our next Devar Torah, our next reader, Susan, if you'd come up now and share with us.
You're a hard act to follow, Jenny. It's really amazing. Thank you, family and friends, for helping me and our class celebrate our B'nai Mitzvah. Even though all of you could not be here like we hoped, I'm thankful that Temple Beth Ami provided the technology to be able to celebrate with us online. Thank you, Rabbi Mark and Sarah Horn, for your guidance and support. I have really enjoyed studying Torah and learning Hebrew with our class, and finally achieving a dream of having bat mitzvah. My parsha is Naso chapter 6, verses 9 through 12 in the book of Numbers. Naso talks about repentance, confession, and dedicating oneself to God. Up until about 5 years ago, God and Jewish traditions have not really been a priority in my life. It seemed to be something that I put on the back burner, so to speak. I felt my adult life was very full. I had a loving husband, Chris, raising 3 beautiful daughters, Cassie, Abigail, and Rachel, along with my stepdaughter, Virginia, and my stepson, Rob. I worked as an instructional assistant for Newhall School District and volunteered at the girls' school. We took some nice vacations over the years, thankfully no major health issues. Things were sailing along in life, but in the back of my mind I always had a desire to learn Hebrew and Torah, but other things were more important at the time. Then as life goes, I had some major wake-up calls. Life got more challenging and difficult. My stepson Rob passed away in 2014, which was exceedingly difficult for our family. There is not a day that goes by that we do not think of him. Also, my parents, Mark and Flora, were aging. They depended a lot more on me for help. Mom and Dad were always very independent, so I never gave it much thought that I would have to help them make some life-changing decisions. Mom and Dad lived in the same house in Tarzana for well over 50 years, but life was changing for them and they could not do much driving. Dad had a few falls and they were getting more socially isolated. I helped them make the decision to move out of their house to assisted living in Northridge. Moving them was such a stressful and emotional undertaking. I did not realize all the childhood and lifelong memories would come flooding into my head. How was I going to carry on the family traditions and Jewish rituals they took care of for the family all those years? I was going to have to shift my thinking of me being the child and they the parents who would always be there for me. I would now have to take on the responsibility of carrying on the Jewish holidays and traditions. How was I going to take care of my family and my parents at the same time? I knew this was not going to be an easy chapter in my life, and I would need some help from God. As King David cried out, "From the depths of despair do I call upon you, O God." The depths of sorrow gave me a jump start and a push to get closer to God. But now the question in my head was how Was I going to change my past and get closer to God in my Jewish religion? I had always gone to high holiday services and was raised in a Reformed Jewish home. I felt I needed more guidance on how to be more spiritual and have more of an understanding of God if I was going to get through the next difficult chapter in my life. I never had a bat mitzvah growing up. It just wasn't a priority for girls back in the 70s. I did get to go to Israel for 6 weeks with a Jewish youth group after my high school graduation. My grandpa A paid for me and my cousin Janet to go to Israel to give us a stronger Jewish identity. I did find a closer connection to Israel and my Jewish roots, and it was a trip I never forgot, but it still did not give me the spirituality I would need later in life. I had to go through more of life experiences to have the spark of faith and spirituality. I believe faith grows as we encounter life's challenges. 4 years ago, my parents moved to assisted living and my dad's health took a turn for the worse. My dad, Mark, passed away January 28, 2018. This was a grief I had never experienced, but it was also the first time I really felt a connection to God. The day my dad passed away was an emotionally draining day. My husband Chris and I were at my mom's apartment dealing with everything. When we got in the car to leave, the radio was on the Sinatra channel. I could not believe the song that was playing on the radio. It was Nancy Sinatra singing the song titled "It's for My Dad." Of all the songs to be playing at the time, I felt my dad was there with me just hours after he had passed away. This was one of the most spiritual wake-up calls, and I immediately felt close to God. You think you will be somewhat prepared for the loss, but you never really are prepared. How can one be prepared to lose a father who always was there for my 57 years of life? How would my life feel not having my dad there making sure my life was going okay? How was I going to help my mother get through the loss of her lifelong partner? These were the questions running through my head. A year and a half after losing my dad, my mom Flora passed away August 28, 2019. This was going to be a more difficult loss. Losing a mother is something you never really get over. There is such a void in my life now. My mother and I would talk almost every day. We would always talk about what her granddaughters were doing and about her mahjong games, which I now have taken over. I would be expecting my phone to ring and she says, "It's Mom," as if I would not know her voice. My heart has a huge hole. I need to keep my memories alive of Mom. I am dedicating my B'nai Mitzvah to my parents, Mark and Flora Seffin. I wish my parents could be here to celebrate this special occasion. I believe they are here with me today in spirit. By having my bat mitzvah, I am honoring my mother and father's memory and following the second commandment. I am dedicating myself to God and our Jewish traditions that they loved and instilled in me. During the quarantine was a perfect time to reflect and focus on God and nature. It was a time for me to heal and reflect, to enjoy the peace that the slowness each day brings, to hear the birds chirping every morning, to hear the geese cackling and flying over our house to the golf course. It makes us just appreciate the mundane and stillness of life. I am thankful I had this quarantine to study my Hebrew and Torah. It was such a gift to help me heal despite these uncertain times. Shabbat Shalom.
Don't call anyone. Oh, yeah. These are coming.
So Susan's last couple of years, as you heard, have not been easy. The loss of her parents, and I know, and I got to know them as well, how proud they were of her, and this is definitely a testament to them. And so again, to have that just in the last couple of years, in addition to Rob's loss, it's been difficult, but the family has found good things to celebrate, and especially we know that they have had a lot of great things to celebrate with their daughters who are here, and we're glad that all three of them could be here today. Mm-hmm. And that one of the things that's really special that Susan is also known for, not only is she a wonderful wife and mother, but she also is a wonderful friend, and she always makes her friends feel very special and very warm. And that is another thing about her that is made her a very important part of our congregation. She's helped out in the sisterhood over these last years, and We hope that she will continue to be a blessing to us and to our friends here and to our wider community. We're very lucky to have her in Santa Clarita as a light. And so we give her this blessing now on behalf of our tradition, and again, in memory, as she said, and in honor and the connection to Mark and Flora and to all of her loved ones. And we now offer again the blessing from this week's Torah portion.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha.
May God's light shine down upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisar Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God turn towards you, giving you the blessing of wholeness, of completeness, of shalom, of peace. Can you hear Ratzon? May this be God's will. We all say together,
Amen.
Amen.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. So, at this time, we're going to call up the youngest member of our group, and that's Kim. So, Kim, if you come up and share your words. And Kim has family in Israel right now that's watching
Yes.
and a part of this too. And some other people may have family in Israel too, but we want to make sure they hear you in Israel.
Okay. It's very hard to go after these ladies. They have such eloquent words. So, in this portion, in order to become a Nazirite, one who was consecrated to God, a person had to abstain from drinking alcohol, refrain from cutting their hair, and avoid contact with the dead for 30 days. Once the 30 days had passed, the person had to offer 3 sacrifices: a burnt offering, a sin offering, and a peace offering, as well as cut off their hair. Only after all these sacrifices would the person be considered a Nazirite. Reading and studying this portion of the Torah got me thinking. The first 3 things that the Israelites were asked to do to prove their faith required not only sacrifice, but perseverance. Webster defines perseverance as continued effort to do or achieve something despite difficulties, failure, or opposition. When I was in high school, I had a part-time job as a waitress. What it taught me was that I didn't want to be a waitress for the rest of my life. Right then and there, I decided that I was going to work my hardest and finish high school at the top of my class and go to a good college, and I did both. When I applied for and started college, I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do when I grew up. I wanted to become an accountant. I finished my first year of college and even got a paid internship the summer between my freshman and sophomore years at a local bookkeeping office. Everything was going according to plan until my sophomore year, when I realized I didn't want to crunch numbers for the rest of my life and found a love for the law, a major which was not offered by the college I was currently attending. I could have given up, but I kept going. Instead of giving up, I decided to leave a University of California college for a California State University college. Most of my classes didn't transfer, and I had come to the conclusion that my bachelor's degree that should have taken me 4 years to complete would end up taking me 5. Again, I could have given up, but I kept going. Just when I thought I had it all figured out, I found out I was pregnant with my oldest son. This was yet another bump in the road that I never expected. I was told by many people that I would never graduate. Again, I could have given up, but I kept going. The end result, I graduated with my bachelor's degree in June of 2005 with my 2-year-old cheering me on. Who am I kidding? He was only happy because he had a bag of snacks to keep him occupied. My undergraduate degree that should have taken me 4 years to complete ended up taking me 6. There were so many times I wanted to give up, but through the difficulties, failure, oppositions, I kept at it. And I'm so thankful that I did. The one thing that got me through all the tough times was my mindset. I had to change the way I spoke to myself. For instance, instead of thinking about the future in terms of if I got my degree, I trained my mind to think about the future in terms of when I got my degree. This may seem like a small nuance, but science has shown that how we talk to ourselves matters. If we constantly tell ourselves that we aren't good enough or smart enough, we will start to believe it. Conversely, if we tell ourselves that we are good enough and we are smart enough, then that is what we will start to believe. During the really tough times, I used to take breaks and would mentally picture graduation day. I could hear my name being called. I could see myself walking across the stage, and I could feel the school administrator's handshake. Having this clear picture in my head allowed me to get through the long sleepless nights, cramming for exams or writing papers, because I knew the reward for getting through it all far outweighed the sacrifices that I had to make along the way. What I learned through all of this is that even if you have to take the road less traveled, do it. Do it scared. There's so much glory on the other side of those detours. I'd like to leave you with the words of Earl Nightingale. Never give up on a dream because of the time it will take to accomplish it. The time will pass anyway. Shabbat Shalom. I'm not moving.
So Kim, as we've already recognized, it was not easy for anybody to deal with the challenges over these last months. When we talk about, as Ginny did, having to homeschool while you're working, that was you that she was talking about. So yes, Kim had tremendous challenges, and of course what we also have to recognize is that you've been doing that as a single mother as well. So there's also that element too, Kim, which again, you're not calling attention to the struggles and sacrifices that you've had to make over these last days, but you've also had that tremendous responsibility. And what's amazing, of course, as people around our synagogue know, is that Kim's also on our board. She serves as secretary of our board, so she's very involved in the board. And then she's also here at every one of our religious schools, helping Jennifer with the religious school and making sure that, and fills in for Jennifer when Jennifer's not able to be there. And so Kim's also done that over these last years, and going above and beyond what a board member would do, what a volunteer would do. And so this was, on top of everything else, some of the things that Kim has driven herself to do. So our hope and prayer is that you continue to have strength to do that, because you've also, in addition to doing all of those things that you've been trying to do and set your goals to, you've also occasionally been burdened with some health issues too. And we hope that those do not come back, and we hope that you're able to stay healthy and strong and continue to be an inspiration to us and to especially to your two very special boys. One of them who had his bar mitzvah a few years ago, and one who's going to have his bar mitzvah in a couple of years, Shane. So we're going to, again, look forward to continuing to watch them grow and develop into great young men. So we're going to give this blessing to Kim now as she celebrates this another accomplishment in her life. We give her the blessing from today's Torah portion.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
May God's light shine down upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God turn towards you as you turn towards others, giving you the blessing of wholeness, of completeness, of peace, of shalom. Can you hear Ratzon? May this be God's will. We say together, everyone.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Mazel tov. So we have some. We're now entering the last two people that are going to be sharing Divrei Torah, who have very special stories to tell. And so we're going to ask Kelly to come up now to share her words. Yeah.
I'm emotional from everybody else's, so I hope I can get through this. Oh, my word. That was great. So when I joined Temple Beth Ami with Philip, I didn't know what to expect other than Shabbat and high holiday services. What I found was a dynamic community. This reminded me of how I grew up, surrounded by family and friends. And when I thought about what to say today, I thought about a song by the High Women. It's called Crowded Table, which is something I can't wait for us all to return to quite literally. The song says, if we want a garden, we're going to have to sow the seeds. Plant a little happiness and let the roots run deep. If it's love that we give, then it's love that we reap. Or, as the Beatles said it best, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. When I moved from Antelope Valley to the San Fernando Valley in the early 1980s, it seemed that many of the guys that happened to catch my eye happened to be Jewish. I never thought much of it. However, when I met Philip in 1988, without him knowing, I signed up for a basic Judaism class at the University of Judaism, UJ. Just as in joining Temple Beth Ami, I did not know what to expect. I grew up Catholic, so I was surprised that we were encouraged to have deeper conversations, ask questions, and even challenge what we were being taught. This was a very different experience from catechism. I was baptized Catholic, and I had my first Holy Communion, but I dropped out of my catechism classes prior to my confirmation. I never went back to regular services, and I will tell you that Judaism was the role, I will tell you in a moment why Judaism was the role that I was meant to be on. I converted to Judaism in 1991 through the UJ. Before Philip and I married, we also took a UJ-sponsored class called Making Marriage Work. Philip joked he was worried that I would become Orthodox. It was a challenge to absorb everything I was learning. Sometimes I felt overwhelmed, so that was not going to happen. I had a conservative conversion, and I remember being nervous when the 3 elderly rabbis asked me questions about my reasons for conversion. I definitely had test anxiety, but the rabbis could not have been nicer and more welcoming. Then I got into the mikveh, and I came out Jewish. About 3 years ago, Philip and I joined Temple Beth Ami, and I discovered a new dynamic community. During Philip's health challenges, members of the synagogue said prayers for Philip, and Rabbi Mark came to see Philip in the hospital. I could tell that really cheered Philip up. Each Friday, we look forward to being with members of our Temple Beth Ami community for our Shabbat services. It marks the end of a week and gives us the opportunity to catch up with other members, pray, sing, and hear from Rabbi Mark and other members of Temple Beth Ami. We even bring our cat Tabby to the blessing of the animals, and Rabbi Mark says that she's the most well-behaved animal there. Remember I told you that Judaism was the road I was meant to be on? Well, a few years ago, my family submitted a DNA test. In the results, I learned that I have Sephardic and Ashkenazi traces from my mother's side of our family. So I think it was meant to be. I am also a member of the Choctaw Nation, so part of me is also Native American, among other regions. In December of 2019, when the adult B'nai Mitzvah class was offered, I wasn't sure if it was something I wanted to take on. I knew that it would require me to learn to read Hebrew and that it would require a not so insignificant time commitment. Even though Hebrew can be a frustrating language, especially for an adult, I am happy that I joined the class. Although I am not going to be writing the next great Hebrew novel or conversing easily at a Hebrew cafe in Tel Aviv, it brings me closer to Judaism. As part of my preparation, I have not missed one Wednesday night Torah studies. I love the time I spend learning Torah. It's amazing how the portions we read relate to our everyday life in 2020. For example, during Torah study in April, we read the portion about biblical quarantine. The reading showed us that Judaism teaches it is best for the community. What is best for the community? It is not all about yourself. Even thousands of years ago, the rabbis knew that quarantine of someone who was contagious was necessary to protect the community. And the quarantine could last up to 14 days, which is the same as today. We also read about the dietary rules in the Torah. They are very concise rules about what is not to be eaten. And yes, one of the things we are not allowed to eat is bat. The word bat is right there in the Torah. They knew back then because protecting the community was paramount. There is a concept in Judaism, tikkun olam, that we are to repair the world. That is a big job, difficult and perhaps impossible to do alone. but a community can repair the world. I am grateful to be part of a community here at Temple Beth Ami that lives that concept every day. Shabbat Shalom.
Don't go ahead.
The fact that Kelly has been part of our community the shortest amount of time. So I've known Kelly the least amount of time, but it doesn't feel that way because, again, as she shared, we've had a chance to have her be involved in the Torah study class, and her and Philip have been at Shabbat services almost every week. They are people we always look forward to seeing and to talking with and engaging. And Kelly is such a wonderful spirit. She's an intelligent and creative person who really brings out the best of other people. And that's, again, one of the things that, of course, makes her such an important part of Philip's life. And I know several times that, many times that he told me that what as much as a visit from me, it was your constant support for him and your love for him as he was battling and in a very difficult struggle over these last couple years, that you were able to be there with him and to give him the strength to continue on. So we're really, really lucky to have you here and to give all of us strength, that we all draw strength from you, Kelly, and the fact that, again, that your journey brought you from the Antelope Valley, from the other side of the hill to here, and again, to be part of our community in Santa Clara. We're very blessed. And so we're going to offer you this blessing, again, the blessing that we read just a few moments ago. We give you this blessing now as our ancestors have been blessing from generation to generation.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine down upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisar Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God turn towards you as you turn towards others, giving you the blessing of wholeness, of completeness, of shalom, of peace. Keni hi ratzon, may this be God's will, and we all say together,
Amen.
So last but not least, Marina, are you ready?
No.
All right, Marina.
But I'll do it anyway.
We turn it over to you.
Stand in the microphone. They can hear you. Right here, stand here. Okay, go.
I'm so pleased to be here today with my Jewish family in our spiritual home, Temple Beth Ami. I'm grateful to have been welcomed into the Jewish faith, to which I was drawn throughout my life. Today I take a further step inward by becoming a B'nai Mitzvah. People, Israel, have been blessed several times on the same days, 50 years apart and 70 years apart. When I learned of the date we were going to do this B'nai Mitzvah, I had no idea the significance of June 6th. But I'm going to go to Jubilee year 539 BC to start my Devar Torah. Ezra says about Cyrus, king of Persia and ruler of a great empire, "The Lord God of heaven charged me with building him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah." He was Adonai's instrument by which our ancestors were blessed. They had been exiled from Israel for 70 years. All captives, and not only the Jews, were released to return to their homelands in the first known declaration of human rights. For our people, this Jubilee allowed us, the heirs, to return to the land, and we did return and built a temple as a house for Adonai. Jubilee year 1867. Transference to the heir must be legal, recognized by reigning authorities, which at the time was the British Empire. Surveyor Charles Warren, affectionately known as the Mole, measured and mapped out the land from Dan to Beersheba. Surveying the land is the first thing to be done when land is transferred. The Ottoman Empire Land Code was enacted in that year, allowing the Ottomans to sell land to Jewish people. We began buying. The Ottomans ended up allowing Adonai to bless our people. In the Jubilee year, 1917, Balfour called for a draft to be made for a public declaration concerning the land. American President Woodrow Wilson favored the declaration. The return of the land to the rightful owner. Adonai again smiled upon his people. Beersheba was relinquished to the British, to General Allenby. Another important piece of land. In Jubilee year 1947, another world leader, President Harry Truman, championed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It gave the European dispossessed Jews the right to return to their home country after World War II. In the Jubilee of 1947, when the chief rabbi of Israel visited President Truman, he said to him that, like Cyrus, he was called to do what he did. King Cyrus and Harry Truman are both associated with human rights declarations. The Jubilee year of 1967. On this day, Titus had hung the Roman standard from our walls. On this day in 1967, Mota Gur returned the nation to its capital. And the rabbi who went with the soldiers to Jerusalem announced, "Your sons have returned to their borders." June 7th, 1967 was the eve of the liberation of Jerusalem with the Six-Day War. 1967 was the first year that Jewish soldiers returned to Jerusalem through the Lion's Gate. In the Jubilee year 2017, when President Trump made the Jerusalem Declaration, he said of Harry Truman, "It was 70 years ago that the U.S., under President Truman, recognized the State of Israel." In March, President Trump spoke about Nowruz, the ancient Persian New Year. He quoted from King Cyrus the Great, "Freedom, dignity, and wealth together constitute the greatest happiness of humanity." He urged the recognition of Jerusalem as the de facto capital of Jerusalem and the relocation of our embassy to Jerusalem. In this speech, he honored two historic world leaders who restored the holy city to the B'nai Israel. Congress passed the Jerusalem Embassy Act in 1995, and the United States Senate reaffirmed the act in a unanimous vote on June 5th, 2017. Our embassy sits in Jerusalem now. I believe this was the most recent time Adonai has lifted up his face to us and gave us peace. Bless you all.
So Marina, the last few years, as you've become much more involved in our community, you had the opportunity to go with us to Israel. Actually, just before that, just before the 2017, you were there in
15, wasn't it?
16.
16.
Lori, it was 2016, wasn't it? No, 17. It was 2017. It was right around that time.
None of us know the date.
Yes, no, it was 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago. And so as Marina shared, her love for Israel was able to be realized in her trip to Israel, which was something that she had promised herself she would do. And after her beloved Joe passed away, Joe was able to go with us on a trip to Israel in the years before. He had wanted her to be able to go as well, and so she did that. And really, no one is as passionate about Israel and the security of Israel as Marina is. It is something that she's always thinking about and praying about and hoping for. The fact that, again, today, as she recalls, is the anniversary of this time of year of the liberation of Jerusalem in 1967. So again, this is something that Marina drew out from her experiences and for her passion, and she has missed very few Friday night services or Torah studies over the last, I want to say, 10 years almost, 10, 11 years?
Oh, it's longer than that.
It's longer than that.
2017.
It might be, no, it was definitely before. It was definitely before 2005 even, so this is, yeah, it's probably 14, 15 years.
I have to inject the fact that Marina was part of our High Holy Day Choir for many years
Yeah,
when we were here, so that's very exciting to see you have a bat mitzvah today, Marina.
Thank you.
so
Awesome.
as we give her this blessing now on behalf of our community, and again, as we're surrounded and the people who came before, including, again, we remember at this time Joe,
Yes.
we give you this blessing, the blessing of our people, the blessing from the Torah portion that you, Marina, have now read.
Yes.
So we give you the priestly benediction, the Birkat Kohanim, for the fifth and final time. We say this blessing over you now, Marina.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and protect you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's light shine down upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisad Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God turn towards you as you turn towards others, giving you the blessing of wholeness, of completeness, of shalom, peace. Can you hear Ratzah? May this be God's will. And we say together, everybody, Amen.
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 Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Now you know what deja vu means. Fifth time. That was amazing.
So it did take us a few years before we could once again have a group of people to be able to be part of our adult B'nai Mitzvah, a critical mass. Hopefully this will inspire others to do so. Again, hopefully the next group will not have to deal with the challenges that these remarkable women overcame, and again inspire us to do whatever we have to do over these next months, and hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later that we get to start really returning to normal, that you've inspired us to do what we have to do and that what we should do. And so thank you all for doing that. We have some of the people who celebrated adult B'nai Mitzvah in previous years are with us in this room, in this very room right now. We're surrounded by several of them, and they are here today and representing about 40, a little over 40 people that have celebrated as adults B'nai Mitzvah at Temple Beth Ami over these last 20 years. And it always is inspirational for myself, and I know for the Candor to be part of these events for adults taking on the spirit and the responsibility of Torah. So we're going to finish up with our last few blessings, and we have a presentation we're going to do for our B'nai Mitzvah in a moment as well.
Would you like to?
I'm going to interrupt.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So I'm number one, so I'm here speaking on behalf of the B'nai Mitzvah group, the five of us. We've all decided that learning Hebrew is much harder after the age of 13. Add in a pandemic, add Zoom classes, curfews that we've had to abide by recently. And, and here we are, we did it, and we did it here in the synagogue. And we appreciate the challenges that put on you, Rabbi Mark, having to come up with this stuff sometimes, even up to just 2 days ago, I don't know, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Between you and Sarah, you've been available to us by Zoom, by phone, by text, by FaceTime, anything that we needed, anything to make this as normal a process as possible, you did. Sarah did, and we appreciate it so much, and we appreciate that we were able to do this today and be here in the synagogue and with our families today. So on behalf of Kelly and Susan and Marina and Kim and myself, both you, Rabbi Mark, and Sarah are going to have a leaf put onto the tree of life, so that
Thank
you
you
will
so
always be remembered that how much we love you and appreciate you.
Thank you. That is very, very meaningful. Thank you. And that is something that means so much to me because, again, the event that we had here today is what makes our community strong. It makes it, it's the very reason why we exist. So thank you. Thank you, Ginny. And again, thank you to everybody who's here today and who supported. And again, especially to the special people who've celebrated B'nai Mitzvah in the past. Some of them who've become board members. Some who've led sisterhood. Some who have even become president of our congregation. Not Lori. Lori's our president. She is here. We're going to have her come up in a moment. But Rosemary was adult bat mitzvah not, about 15 years ago. So you never know. I want everybody here who celebrated today to think about the possibilities. And as I mentioned to the group a few days ago, and I don't know if she's with us by Zoom right now, but she is definitely part of Marina's life. One of those people who celebrated adult bat mitzvah, Sarah Renson, became a rabbi. So there are a lot of things that are still on the horizon for you. We hope that this is only the beginning. So you never know, Kelly. You could be a rabbi. Even though you're just starting Hebrew, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. So we're going to finish up with our last few prayers, the last few blessings. Before we finish up, the cantor has a special piece that we're going to do now in honor of of all of these wonderful women. And again, and we really are strengthened by what they've done here today. It's given us something to work towards, to look forward to, and again, to hopefully get us through this period of time. We'll never forget this.
The Shekhinah, the word Shekhinah, if you've ever heard that word, it represents the feminine attributes of the presence of God. And there's a wonderful song that Debbie Friedman actually wrote called The Angel's Blessing, based on the Shekhinah. And I thought for 5 women, this is a good song. It's a good prayer. So can I have the ladies please stand? Not all ladies, just the ones who are... Yes, thank you. And we're going to do this. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but Debbie Friedman, blessed memory, she really loved the women's movement. She loved the word Shekhinah. It was so important to her. I thought you guys would love this today. May our right hand bring us closer to our godliness. May our left hand give us strength to face each day. And before us, may our visions light our paths ahead. And behind us, may well-being heal our way. All around us is Shekhinah. All around us is Shekhinah. Try singing that with me. All around us is Shekhinah. All around us is Shekhinah. May our right hand bring us closer to our godliness. May our left hand give us strength to face each day. And before us may our visions light our paths ahead. And behind us may well-being heal our way. Everybody, all around us is Shekhinah. 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 Mazel tov.
So before we finish up, we want to ask everybody to rise now. In the books that you have, the programs, you have the names of the special people that we're remembering now, those of blessed memory. And everybody here who is being honored and who's honored us with being called to the Torah has included the special people that they're thinking of, that they've dedicated this to in memoriam. Today we're also, as we say, Mourner's Kaddish, remembering those who've passed in these last days, people who've suffered from and succumbed to virus. But of course, over these last days, people have also passed through other disease, through illness, and also, again, in our own country, we think about those who have died in violence. This is, sometimes we remember people who've been killed in war. We remember victims of terror, unfortunately. In this case, over these last days, we unfortunately have to include those who have been killed here in our own country. And this is, hopefully, this weekend will bring an end to the violence and to the possibilities of more opportunities for death and destruction. We hope that this Shabbat, this weekend, will start to see light at the end of this darkness and the end of this violence. This is a time for reflection. And rather than say one person's name or a few people's names, I ask you to remember all those who've died in acts of violence in our country, and especially now, to be thinking of those who whose lives were cut short. And we remember our loved ones and those victims of violence and illness now as we say Mourner's Kaddish. On page 36. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon v'yomechon Ufchayei dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'galal v'zman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'olam u'lamei Almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrolam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudisha b'riyachu Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Da'amiran b'yalma v'imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated, everybody. So we should also say, and again, as Marina reminded us, that this is a time also to remember those who fell during the Six-Day War. Even though the losses on the Israeli side were minimal, there still were about 900 Israeli soldiers that were killed in battle, and about 20 or 30 civilians that were killed at this time of year in 53 years ago, in 1967. So again, this is on the secular calendar, yard-side, a time of remembering that as well. So we want to finish in here, and we're going to give everybody a chance to actually go outside to get some sunlight, and we're going to actually say the Kiddush and Hamotzi. We figured out a way to do this in a safe way, so that each group, each family will have their own challah, their own grape juice, and so we're not sharing grape juice or challah, and so Tracy spent a lot of time trying to individually wrap those things, and also to individually wrap cookies so that people don't have to share a table. So we put a lot of thought, a lot of time in it. I just wish she would have washed her hands.
Oh no. She can't have everything.
Why are you shaking your head, Judith? So she's in food safety, so she trains people in food safety. So before we finish up, though, I want to call up, and while we're still on video here and have lots of people watching us, I want to call up our congregational president, Lori Lytell, if we come up for a special presentation to our B'nai Mitzvah. No, you'll have to use that. Okay. Stand over by that mic.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
I'm so proud and so humbled to be here joining all of you today. It was such a beautiful and moving service, and I just am so touched by the commitment that you have all made today, and it's just a great pleasure to see you honored today. So as a small token of our appreciation, our love for you, we have a small gift to give to each of you from your TBA family. Kim? Susan? Marina? Kelly? Thank you very much. And Ginelle. Thank you so much. Mazel tov to all of you.
Rabbi, I think these ladies need a nice round of applause from everybody that's here.
We're going to ask everybody to stand. We're going to finish with one last prayer in here. It's not really a prayer, it's a song. You'll find it on page 39. It's Hatikva, and again today as we think about Israel, as we mentioned the Six-Day War, the anniversary of, but also the prayer, the song Hatikva means the hope. And again, all of these special women have given us hope. And at a time when we needed extra bit of hope, we want to thank them for giving us that and that inspiration. So on page 39, we oftentimes conclude with this song and with our national anthem, Hatikva. Page 39, everyone.
Kol od balevam penima Nefesh Yehudi homiya Ufateh Mizrach kadima Ayin leTzion Sofia Od lo avda tikvateinu Hatikva bat shnot alpayim Liot am chofshi Be'artzeinu Eretz Zion B'Yerushalayim Liot am chofshi Be'artzeinu Eretz Zion B'Yerushalayim.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Good Shabbos. We want to wish our adult B'nai Mitzvah Mazel Tov.
Semen Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Semen Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov, Semen Tov and Mazel Tov and Mazel Tov and Semen Tov. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Semen Tov, Mazel Tov, Semen Tov, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Mazel Tov!
Yesher Koach to our candor. It's wonderful to have you back here in this room.
Nice to be back. It's my honor. Thank you to be back.
Thank you. And join us right now. We're going to go outside right away. While we're still on camera, we're still on video, we'll get everybody outside. So let's go.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
But I didn't wash my hands.
Were we getting outside?
Wash your hands. So we've got everyone separated.
Where do you want me?
He just wants to film this. You're on live still?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, he's gonna do the blessings and stuff out here.
Okay, so I'll just stand like right back here. I'm gonna clip this on here, okay?
Put them in that crate. Yeah, just put them in the crate. I don't know. Yeah, probably. Congratulations, Mazel Tov. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. I'm gonna support you.
Thank you.
It was beautiful.
It was really.
Pick a table.
Oh, pick a table. Really nice. Thank you.
I'm not. Pick a table.
We'll come over here. I'll fit everything down. Alrighty, this is so nice. Oh, I need my sunglasses.
It's turned out beautiful out
Really
here.
did.
Here, okay, we'll bring them over here. There's a chair right here. You can
Yeah,
sit
okay.
You can put our stuff right here.
I don't know. Do you hear this someone specific?
Yes, Marina.
So find a table for Marina.
Anyone where you don't have to walk so far to the car.
I'll let Marina decide.
Pick a table for Mom.
Whose table is this?
Anyone who wants it.
Do you want
A table for Marina.
Marina? Is this one or
You have
that
one,
one?
Marina. Marina, pick a table.
Yeah, let's do Marina here.
Hey, congratulations to your wife. She's found a table.
Oh, beautiful.
We're right down here. I want you to
Yes.
okay.
You sang
certainly is different.
beautifully. Tell me about it, girls.
Tell me about it. I know I have to get used to this whole thing.
Congratulations.
Crazy, huh?
Pick a table. Any table for
Is it ever
Jenny and
going
the
to
rest of
change?
you. Congratulations.
I don't know. I don't know I about was the so near glad- future. I was so
Just
glad to
great.
come back to Temple.
Yeah.
Just to come back, you know?
Definitely.
Come to the building.
Yeah, yeah.
I felt so much
I
better
was
just
so
singing the
excited about
songs.
it. Oh, and the fruit trees. She's got some fruit.
Oh, wow, this looks nice.
That's a hybrid tree. It has 4 different kinds of fruit on it.
Yes, I know.
Who did this? This is very nice.
This was whose trees were it? This was, you know, he said. Was it Harvey?
Well, Harvey did all the landscaping, yeah.
No, it was somebody else.
But I think somebody else might have done the trees, but
Somebody else had them. It was their trees that they didn't want them, and they brought them over here.
I guess we should we pour the...
Grape juice.
So each of every family has
And did you feel the earthquake?
You felt it? I didn't
gosh,
feel it.
yes, I felt it.
Really?
I was sitting and watching television, and I went, "Oh, there was an earthquake." That's what I thought.
Huh?
Which table?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, doesn't matter. You just find me.
We could go to lunch after, like, Tuesday morning.
Yes, if we can have the classes here.
I don't think so.
Well, where is our Marina?
I don't know. Where's she at? They have to wait for her, of course. I had to take a nest in order to drink.
Just where I do this.
Yeah, you're lucky you had that. Oh, the elastic was starting to hurt my ears.
I know, it gets on your nerves after a while.
Go by your table and grab some bread.
Here she comes. Okay.
Here you go, Marina.
Here.
Okay. Here you go.
Thank you.
Is this alcoholic? No, it's not. Okay, give me some hand sanitizer then I'll drink that. Because of the alcohol.
Marina. Oh, God.
All right. All right, everybody.
Everybody ready? Tishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam, beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, ot hi le'olam, ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim v'et haaretz, ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, al ken berach Adonai et yom ha-Shabbat vayikadshehu, savarim v'ranan. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. L'chaim.
Time.
Amotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices join in happy chorus as our prayer is humbly said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
everyone.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
What else do you want?
Anything else you'd like? Whatever. If somebody wants to go with me, I'll take them. Yeah, it's just right down the way, you know, very close.
So good Shabbos, everyone. We want to thank everybody for joining us, and stay safe and healthy, and we hope to see you soon here at Temple Beth Ami or online. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom and Mazel Tov to our B'nai Mitzvah. Take care, everybody.
Yeah.